Let me tell you what happened the day the alien girl tried to clean the dirtiest place on the farm. Not the barn, not the machine shed. Worse. The buffalo pen. Mud so deep it swallowed boots, ammonia sting in the air, flies that had their own postal codes. And she went in there smiling like she was greeting old friends. I told you Sera moved faster than machines, right? Well, that day she moved with something else. Gentleness. She talked to the buffalo like they were teammates and rolled up her sleeves like a person about to make a place better. And for a while it worked. Until it didn't, because buffalo don't read good intentions. One kick, one bad angle. One soft sound from Sera that made the world go quiet. That was the moment the whole farm held its breath. Here's why it mattered. Sera wasn't just a guest anymore. She was part of the backbone of this place. The harvest she saved paid off debts. The tricks she taught the soil made the land remember rain. Losing her, no, let me say this right, failing her would break more than a season. It would break trust. And out here, trust is the only thing sturdier than fence posts. On top of that, word had started spreading about Jonah's new hand. Neighbors had noticed the yields, the speed, the quiet miracles. If something happened to Sera, there'd be questions. The wrong kind of attention? Maybe even the collectors again. And the buffalo? Well, they weren't villains. They were power on hooves, heavy as tractors and twice as stubborn. If the pen stayed filthy, disease would follow, calves would weaken, and the farm would start bleeding money. So this wasn't a chore. It was a fight for the health of everything that ate, breathed, or hoped inside the fence line. Sunlight came in clear and honest through the old windows of the little house Jonah gave Sera. She'd gotten fond of the crooked porch and the way the boards hummed in the wind. On the table, a notebook full of hand-drawn diagrams, gravity-fed gutters, drainage channels, a plan to compost the muck instead of letting it rot. Sera had mapped the buffalo pen like a star chart. When she brought the plan, Jonah squinted like he always did when something sounded too smart to be practical. Buffalo don't care about diagrams, he said. They care about being left alone and fed on time. Sera smiled, small and certain. They care about ground that doesn't hurt to stand on. She wasn't wrong. The pen held standing puddles. Every storm made it worse. Jonah rubbed his neck. We should wait for extra help. Sera tilted her head. We will be enough. And because she'd been right so many times, he said yes. The smell hit first. Then the sound, hoof-sucking mud, the low thunder of deep bodies shifting their weight. The big bull, old Slate, watched from under a ragged shade roof. Calves bumped against their mothers like small satellites. Sera took it in. They are beautiful, she said, and meant it. Jonah snorted. They're beautiful when they're steaks. She glanced at him, caught the joke late, then let it land. Steak beauty is delayed beauty, she decided, and Jonah laughed for real. Sera started where anyone with sense would, the water. She set 3 long, shallow trenches to lead muck toward a composting bay she'd marked with hay bales. Jonah fired up the old skid steer to push the worst of it. She laid perforated pipes she cut from cracked irrigation lines, wrapped them in burlap, and angled them downhill to feed a biofilter pile. Wood chips, straw, charcoal, and microbes from a sour-smelling slurry she'd cultured in a bucket overnight. Memory for water, she called it. Jonah just called it smart. Sera stepped to the fence, palms open. Good morning, she told the buffalo. We will make your ground lighter. Buffalo don't bow, but there was a moment they stopped pawing and just looked. She didn't flinch. Jonah opened the side gate and made a low path through the alley so they could shift the herd in sections. The rhythm set in. Jonah moved cattle. Sera shaped ground. The pen slowly became a system instead of a swamp. It happened around midday when the sun pushed the smell flat and hard. They were almost done with the second section. A calf got spooked by the skid steer's backup beep and bolted. Its mother spun bright and sudden. Sera was closest. She moved like water, slow enough not to startle, quick enough to matter, putting herself between calf and fence panel so the little one wouldn't slam the rails. Jonah saw the line of danger nick the air and yelled. But sound travels slower than hooves. A hind leg flicked back. Reflex, not malice. A clean, mean kick. You'd think something as big as a buffalo would be clumsy. You'd be wrong. The hoof caught Sera just above the hip with a hollow thud that made Jonah's stomach drop. She folded without drama like a tent in a sudden gust, and went down into the mud. Old Slate stamped twice and huffed. The calf froze. The mother pawed, agitated but not charging. Jonah killed the skid steer so fast he barely remembered pressing the button. The world zoomed down to breath and mud and a quiet, awful stillness where a person should have been moving. Jonah slid to his knees, boots stuck to the ankle in muck. "Sera, talk to me." Her eyes were open, clear, focused, but her lips pressed thin and her hands trembled from a pain she refused to name. "I am intact," she said, which is the kind of thing someone says when they're not. He checked for bleeding. With Sera, you couldn't trust human signs. Her skin didn't bruise like ours, didn't redden the same. But swelling? Swelling is universal. A welt rose under skin that had always looked like moonlit porcelain but felt warm, real, too fragile in that moment. There's a way farmers carry the injured, efficient, gentle, determined. He wrapped an arm around her back and let her lean, step by step, out past the watching herd. "I miscalculated," she said between breaths. "Not your fault," Jonah answered. "Buffalo don't read manuals." She tried a smile, failed. Do not tell the buffalo that. Back in the shade of the equipment bay, Jonah did what he knew. Ice from the chest, clean water, a folded towel as a pillow, a blanket that smelled like hay and sunshine. Sera did what she knew, scanned herself with a palm-sized device, read something invisible and said, "Hairline fracture, no internal rupture." Jonah exhaled hard enough to rattle the bolts in the workbench. "So we tape it, we rest, and we pretend we're smarter tomorrow." There's a particular heartbreak when the strong get hurt and try to hide it. Sera kept her eyes on a knot in the lumber above, breathing slow, counting. Jonah pretended not to notice the tear that escaped and mixed with dust on her temple. He told a story instead, the one about his dad getting kicked by a heifer in '29, limping through a county fair, refusing the crutch because pride is a dumb kind of pain. "We learn," he finished, and Sera nodded. "We do?" They could have called it. They didn't. Jonah moved the last of the muck and set the compost bay while Sera directed from a chair, voice steadying as she turned pain into instructions. "Angle 2 degrees more. The flow will stall otherwise. Add straw. Carbon balance." He obeyed like she was a foreman and he was a rookie, and maybe he was. The pen transformed under the patience of two people who refused to let one kick end a good plan. When the sun fell, the air cooled and the flies gave up. Jonah carried a lamp to the north house and set it on Sera's table beside her diagrams. She eased into a chair with the posture of someone who'd negotiated a truce with gravity. "I would like," she said, "to finish tomorrow." Jonah frowned like thunder. "No tomorrow until you can stand without making that face." She tried to look offended. Failed again. "Then I will sit and instruct." The buffaloes still stand on pain. He couldn't argue with that sentence. Word rolls through a county the way wind rolls through wheat, quiet at first, then strong enough to bend things. Mrs. Hall from the next farm dropped by with ginger tea and a bottle of old painkiller cream. "Heard your new hand got tapped by a hoof," she said, eyes sharp enough to see the truth and kind enough not to poke it. Sera thanked her like she'd been given a royal gift, and in a way she had. Acceptance is the rarest crop. The next morning, Old Slate hovered by the fence while Jonah checked the new drainage. Buffalo don't say sorry. They stand closer. They don't bow. They blink slow. Slate blinked slow. Sera, wrapped in a thick sweater against the morning wind, lifted a hand and stayed behind the fence this time. "No malice," she said softly. "Only momentum." Jonah nodded. "I've met people who kick with malice. I prefer momentum. Over 3 days they finished the fix." Sera pointed. Jonah dug. They laid new bedding, straw over dry ground, so hooves wouldn't sink and tendons wouldn't strain. They set a proper shade roof that didn't flap and scare calves. The water troughs got floated valves that didn't gush and a graded platform so the ground didn't erode to soup. Flies dipped and left. Ammonia faded to the ordinary stink of healthy animals. You don't make beauty out of a buffalo pen, but you can make dignity. That's what they built. When it was done, Sera asked for a small thing, a ribbon of red cloth. Jonah had one from the corner of an old feed sack. She tied it to the pen's gate hinge and touched it with her fingertips. "This is how my people honor places that learn," she said. Jonah touched the knot, too. "This place learned the hard way." She looked at him. "We did also. Pain doesn't leave when the job's done." That afternoon, when the farm got quiet in that honest, heavy way, Sera sat on her porch and let herself be sad. Not just about the kick, about being far from the sky she knew, about being a secret in a world that couldn't decide whether to fear her or worship her. Jonah sat on the step below, hat in his hands. He didn't try to fix it with words. He let sadness be what it is, proof that something matters. By week's end, Sera could walk without gripping the doorframe. She still moved carefully, but there was a new calculation in her steps, respect for mass and distance and animal minds. "I will not stand that close again," she said. Jonah grinned. "Add that to your diagrams." She did, writing in neat letters. Buffer. Bodies have boundaries. Then below that, a smaller line. Care is not contact. Jonah read it, nodded like he might make it a sign. Because nothing stays simple, a county sheriff drone drifted over, polite as a banker and just as nosy. It registered the drainage changes, scanned ear tags, and hovered a beat too long near Sera's porch. Jonah stood tall enough to look like paperwork trouble. "Something I can help you with?" The drone blinked lights. "Inspection complete." It zipped away. Sera exhaled slow. "Collectors?" "No," Jonah said. "Just our local version. Still don't like uninvited eyes." She looked at the buffalo, then back at him. "Then we make what we do undeniable and uninteresting." He laughed. "You're learning fast." They named the compost bays after jokes. Bay 1, Muck McMansion. Bay 2, Future Pasture. In a month, that black gold would feed the fields. The pen stayed dry even when a storm chewed on the horizon. Calves slept without lifting their heads to cough. Old Slate's coat took on a healthy gloss that made him look like a living mountain, and the ribbon at the gate lifted and fell in the wind like a heartbeat. That evening, Jonah brought out a box. Inside, a key on a leather cord, burnished by years in a drawer. "Figured you earned the official version," he said, holding it out. "To the little house. To here." Sera took it with both hands, solemn as a vow. "It feels ceremonial," she said. "It is," he replied. "It says you belong." She looked at the key, then at the buffalo, then at the land. "Then I will keep learning how to belong without breaking." Sunset stretched everything long and kind. They leaned against the fence, watching the herd settle on ground that no longer sucked at their joints. "You know," Jonah said, "there's a kind of pride in fixing something nobody wants to look at." Sera nodded, eyes on Old Slate. "There is a kind of love that looks where it hurts." She touched the fence post, rough, solid, real. "We will need more straw next week," she added, practical as always. Jonah chuckled. "Always more straw." So that's how the alien girl cleaned the buffalo place and got kicked for her trouble. It wasn't a miracle. It was better. It was a lesson. In boundaries. In patience. In how care isn't soft. It's strong enough to go where it stinks, to stay when it hurts, to finish the job, and to tie a little ribbon on a hinge when it's done. We like to think stories turn on galaxies and grand speeches. Sometimes they turn on a hoof, a bruise, a plan drawn on a kitchen table, and a key pressed into a hand that needed a home.